All right, everybody, welcome to another deep dive. This time we're tackling a big one, AI and ROI. Do those big promises actually hold up?
Well, we'll see about that.
We're going to be going deep on this blog post from
Mm.
Turinton. They're a company making some bold claims about making AI work for businesses. So if you're listening and you're intrigued by AI, but you're also a little skeptical about the hype, this deep dive is for you.
Absolutely. We're going to separate fact from fiction, unpack the real costs of these AI projects, and explore how Turinton is trying to shake things up a bit.
So let's set the stage here. You're hearing all this buzz, right? Machine learning, deep learning neural networks. It sounds really impressive, but how do you actually know if it's going to make a difference for your business?
That's the key question, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where this deep dive comes in. This blog post really gets into the nitty-gritty, the real costs of AI projects, and some of it's pretty surprising.
Yeah. A lot of companies get swept up in the excitement, and they just don't fully grasp the investment that's really required.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
So we're going to look at the full picture today. Everything from building the right data infrastructure to navigating those hidden costs that can really sneak up on you.
I think it's important to kind of get this out of the way up front. AI projects, they're expensive.
They can be, yeah.
So let's break down those costs. The blog post kind of divides these costs into three main phases. You've got your data infrastructure and preparation, then you have AI development and deployment, and then you have sustaining and scaling the project once it's up and running.
And each of those phases has its own unique challenges and costs. Take data, for example. The blog post calls it the unsung hero of AI, and for good reason. That's the foundation that everything else is built on. But here's the thing. Cleaning and preparing that data can eat up anywhere from 50 to 80% of your total budget.
Whoa, wait, 80%. Are you serious?
Yeah, it's true.
So you're telling me before you even start building an AI model, you might have already spent most of your budget just getting the data ready.
It happens more often than you think, and it's often overlooked in those initial cost projections. People forget you have to factor in collecting the data, cleaning it, formatting it, making sure it's all consistent and accurate. It's a huge undertaking, and it requires people with specialized expertise.
So it's not just about having a lot of data. It's about having the right data.
Yeah.
And having it in a usable format.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of daunting, to be honest.
It is. And then on top of that, you've got the costs associated with actually developing and deploying the AI itself, the infrastructure, the tools, and of course the talent. The blog post mentions that hiring experienced data scientists and AI engineers can cost you upwards of $200,000 a year per employee.
Wow. Yeah, those salaries add up quickly.
They do. And then you have the cost of training the AI models themselves.
Right.
The blog post cites some pretty crazy numbers. Training just one large language model like the kind that powers ChatGPT can cost over $1 million.
That's not exactly chump change.
Not at all. And it's important to remember that those large language models are just one type of AI. There are tons of other types of models and algorithms, each with its own development and training costs.
So we've talked about data and development. Are there any other hidden costs that we should be aware of, things that maybe don't show up on those initial spreadsheets?
Oh, there are plenty. And those are often the ones that trip companies up. For example, what happens if your employees don't trust the AI system?
Oh, interesting.
Or refuse to use it? All that investment goes down the drain if you haven't thought about user adoption and change management.
Yeah, that's a great point. You can have the most sophisticated AI in the world, but if your team doesn't embrace it, it's worthless. What else?
Well, there's the issue of bias in algorithms.
Right.
The post warns that biased algorithms can lead to inaccurate predictions, which not only hurts your business, but can also be incredibly costly to fix. You might have to recollect data retrain models and potentially deal with legal or reputational fallout.
Yeah, nobody wants to deal with that. And it makes sense. If your AI is trained on biased data, it's going to produce biased results. And that can have serious consequences, both for your business and for the people you're trying to serve.
Absolutely. And then, of course, there's the cost of simply keeping the AI system running and up to date. You have to factor in things like maintenance monitoring and ongoing updates. All of this adds to the total cost of ownership.
So it's not just about the initial investment. It's about the long-term sustainability of the project. And let's not forget the potential for things to go wrong. AI systems are complex, and there's always a risk of bugs, errors, or unexpected outcomes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And those unexpected outcomes can be costly. You might have to go back and retrain your models, or you might have to completely redesign your system.
Okay, so we've established that AI projects can be a major financial undertaking.
Yeah.
But before we all run for the hills, let's talk about the potential upside.
Okay.
Is there a light at the end of this very expensive tunnel? Can AI actually deliver a return on investment that justifies all this cost and effort?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the answer, thankfully, is yes, but with some very important caveats. The McKinsey report cited in the blog post found that AI adoption could boost productivity by a staggering 20–30% across industries.
20–30% increase in productivity. That's huge.
It is. It's a massive potential upside.
But how does that translate to real-world results? What kind of businesses are actually seeing these gains?
Well, the report highlights a few key areas where AI is already making a significant impact. For example, in manufacturing, AI-powered systems are being used to optimize production lines, predict equipment failures, and improve quality control. This can lead to significant cost savings and increased efficiency.
So it's not just about replacing human workers with robots. It's about using AI to augment human capabilities and make existing processes more efficient.
Exactly. And we're seeing similar gains in other industries as well. In healthcare, AI is being used to diagnose diseases, develop new treatments, and personalize patient care. In finance, AI is being used to detect fraud, manage risk, and make investment decisions. The possibilities are really endless.
So it sounds like the potential ROI of AI is significant, but it's not automatic. It really depends on how you approach it.
That's exactly right. The blog post is very clear that realizing those gains requires careful planning execution and a deep understanding of how AI can be applied to your specific business needs.
This is where I think things get really interesting. The blog post dives into a company called Turinton, and they're doing something called productizing AI. This sounds like a potential game changer. But before we get into that, what are your initial thoughts on the potential of Turinton's approach to really maximizing the value of AI investments?
Well, the concept of productizing AI is definitely intriguing. It suggests a shift from custom-built solutions to more standardized, off-the-shelf products that are easier to implement and scale. And that could be a key factor in making AI more accessible and affordable for businesses of all sizes. Let's see if they can deliver on that promise.
Okay, so we're back, and we're ready to really get into this whole productized AI thing. I have to admit, I'm still a little bit fuzzy on what that actually means.
Sure, yeah, it's a newer concept.
It sounds great, on paper, but how does it actually work in the real world?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's really where the rubber meets the road with this. Turinton's approach centers around this idea of taking those complex, often bespoke AI solutions and packaging them into more user-friendly, commercially viable products.
Okay, so I'm kind of getting the what, but help me with the why.
Yeah.
Why is this productized approach potentially better than the traditional way of doing AI?
Okay, well, think about it this way. Building a custom AI solution is kind of like building a house from scratch.
Okay.
You need architects, engineers, contractors, and a whole lot of specialized knowledge.
Yeah.
It's expensive, it's time-consuming, and there's a lot that can go wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
Productized AI, on the other hand, is more like buying a prefabricated house.
Interesting.
You still get all the benefits of a house, but it's faster, more efficient, and generally less risky.
Oh, that's a great analogy. I like that. I'm starting to see the appeal here.
Yeah.
But let's get into the specifics. How does Turinton actually do this? What does their platform look like?
So their core offering is this enterprise-grade AI platform that's designed to integrate with a company's existing systems and data. This is really where the magic happens. It's not about ripping and replacing your current infrastructure. It's about enhancing it with a layer of AI-powered intelligence.
So instead of starting from scratch, they're building on what's already there. Makes sense. But what does that actually look like in practice?
So imagine a company that has data spread across multiple systems, sales, marketing, customer support, you name it.
Right. Most companies these days.
Traditionally, getting a holistic view of that data would require a lot of manual effort, custom integrations, and probably a few headaches along the way. Turinton's platform aims to change that by creating what they call an AI-driven data fabric.
Okay, AI-driven data fabric. It sounds impressive, but I need you to break that down for me a little bit more. What is that?
Think of it as kind of a virtual layer that sits on top of all your different data sources. This fabric connects those disparate silos, making it possible to query information across all of them seamlessly, even if the data is formatted differently or stored in different locations.
So no more data getting lost in the cracks or spending weeks trying to pull together reports from different departments. That's a huge time saver.
Right, exactly.
But what makes it AI-driven?
That's where the real power comes in. The AI within this data fabric doesn't just connect the data, it analyzes, it identifies patterns, and even makes predictions.
Wow.
And the really cool part is that users can interact with this AI using natural language.
Wait, so you're telling me I could just type in a question like, what are my top-selling products in the Midwest? And the AI will just spit out an answer based on data from all my different systems.
That's the idea. It democratizes access to data and insights. You don't need to be a data scientist or know how to code to get answers to your questions.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this could be a game changer for businesses. But let's not forget about those hidden costs we talked about earlier. Does Turinton's platform address things like user adoption bias and security?
It certainly tries to. For starters, the platform is designed to be very user-friendly and intuitive, which can definitely help with adoption.
Makes sense.
They also emphasize data governance and security, which are critical for building trust and mitigating risk.
That's good to hear. But what about bias? We talked earlier about how AI algorithms can perpetuate existing biases if they're not carefully designed and trained. How does Turinton address that challenge?
Well, it's important to note that no AI system is completely immune to bias.
True.
But Turinton claims to take a very proactive approach by carefully curating the data used to train their models and by implementing mechanisms to detect and mitigate bias.
So it's about being aware of the potential for bias and taking steps to minimize it. Got it.
Yeah.
But let's move beyond the platform itself.
Sure.
What are some of the specific ways Turinton claims to add value for their customers?
That's where we really get to the heart of their value proposition. The blog post highlights several key areas where Turinton aims to deliver tangible benefits. One of the biggest is reducing complexity. They argue that their platform can eliminate the need for multiple disparate AI tools and technologies,
Right.
streamlining the process and making it much more manageable.
I can see how that would be appealing,
Yeah,
especially for businesses that are just starting out with AI or don't have a huge IT budget.
absolutely. And it ties into another key benefit. They emphasize faster time to market. By simplifying the AI implementation process, Turinton claims to help businesses get up and running faster so they can start seeing results sooner.
Time is money, as they say. But what about the quality of those results? How does Turinton ensure that their productized AI solutions are actually delivering accurate and reliable insights?
They talk a lot about minimizing variability in results, which is crucial for building trust and making informed decisions.
Yeah.
They achieve this through standardization, rigorous testing, and ongoing monitoring of their models.
So it's not just about speed, it's about accuracy and consistency as well.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But let's get even more granular.
Okay.
I'm really curious about how Turinton adds value through this productized AI approach. What are some concrete examples of the problems they're solving and the benefits they're delivering?
Let's dive into those details next. What we need to remember here is that Turinton aims to bridge that gap between cool research and usable tools, making AI less intimidating and more accessible for businesses of all sizes.
Sounds like we've got a lot more to uncover. We'll dig into those specific examples after a quick break. Okay, we're back. And we left off talking about how Turinton is trying to make AI more practical and valuable for businesses with this productized approach. But I'm really curious to get into some concrete examples of how this actually works. Can you walk me through some specific use cases?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start with a scenario that I think a lot of businesses can relate to: customer churn prediction. Imagine you're a company with a subscription-based service,
Right.
and you want to identify customers who are likely to cancel so you can step in and, try to keep them.
Yeah, makes sense. It's always cheaper to retain a customer than it is to acquire a new one. But how does AI actually help with that?
Traditionally, companies would use things like rule-based systems or basic statistical models to predict churn, but these methods are often pretty limited in their accuracy. AI, on the other hand, can analyze massive amounts of customer data, uncover those hidden patterns, and make much more precise predictions.
So AI can help you spot those warning signs before it's too late.
Right.
But how does Turinton fit into this?
Well, instead of having to build a custom churn prediction model from scratch, which can take a lot of expertise and resources,
Yeah.
Turinton offers a pre-built solution that's tailored to this specific problem.
So it's like a plug-and-play churn prediction engine.
Exactly.
That sounds incredibly efficient. How does it actually work, though?
So the Turinton platform integrates with your existing customer data, whether it's from your CRM, your billing system, or other sources. And their AI models analyze this data, identifying those key factors that are correlated with churn.
So things like decreased usage, negative feedback, or changes in billing pattern?
Exactly. The AI learns from your historical data to pinpoint those red flags. And the output is a list of customers who are deemed high risk for churn, along with some insights into why they might be considering leaving.
Okay, so that's valuable information. But what can a company actually do with that information? It's one thing to predict churn, it's another to actually prevent it.
Right, and that's where the real power lies. Armed with these insights, companies can proactively reach out to those at-risk customers, offer personalized incentives, address their concerns, and ultimately try to win back their loyalty.
So it's not just about the prediction itself, it's about using those predictions to drive action and improve business outcome.
Exactly. And this churn prediction example is just one use case. Turinton offers a range of pre-built AI solutions for other common business challenges like fraud detection, personalized marketing, supply chain optimization.
So it really sounds like they're trying to democratize access to AI by making it more accessible and affordable for businesses that might not have the resources to build custom solutions.
That's their goal, and it's an important one. As AI becomes more and more pervasive, it's essential that businesses of all sizes have the opportunity to leverage its power.
Absolutely. Well, this has been a really fascinating deep dive. We've gone from the high-level costs of AI to the specifics of how Turinton is trying to make it more practical and valuable for businesses. What stands out to you as the most important takeaway from all of this?
I think for me, the biggest takeaway is that AI is not just some futuristic technology. It's a tool that can be applied to solve real-world business problems today. And companies like Turinton are playing a key role in bridging that gap between the theoretical and the practical.
Couldn't agree more. And it's really exciting to see how these productized AI solutions are making it easier and more affordable for businesses to get started with AI and see a return on their investment. So to our listeners out there, the big question remains, is your AI project worth it? Only you can answer that. But hopefully this deep dive has given you the knowledge and insights to make a more informed decision. Thanks for joining us.